Someone once asked me, what is the moment that enough is enough and it's gone too far and you have to leave? And I sat with that question for a little bit. And I said never. I said there isn't a point. They could say that being gay is a crime, a felony even, and then we're gonna lock you in jail for doing it, and I'm still gonna be here fighting against that law, because at the end of the day, this is my home. It is not something I am willing to abandon because it matters too much.
I grew up here, right here in Miami-Dade County, seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. I remember I was in the 3rd grade. A friend of mine was getting ready to have a birthday party, and the party was canceled because Dr. King was murdered. I said, it's not fair. That was in 1968. It's 2024, and I'm still saying it's still not fair. It almost feels as if time is repeating itself.
I had a very LGBT inclusive school environment and really grew up in this very supportive bubble. We started PRISM as a high school club with the intention of creating that safe space.
Hey! Today's a good day. You wanna know why? It's PRISM's birthday!
We work to expand access to LGBT inclusive education and sexual health resources for young people in South Florida. It wasn't until 2022 that we really started getting into policy and advocacy and activism and those things that are such a big part of our fabric now.
Just not end here! We keep showing up every single day! We keep making our voices heard! Who scores? Our schools! Who scores? Our schools!
When the Don't So Gay Trans law started moving through committees in 2022, I was so hopeful that nobody would see that as something beneficial, that's something that nobody could get behind. And then they did. I had never really known what it was like to be hated like that until that moment.
From the moment we opened over 40 years ago, we were all about working with the schools, working with young people. Freedom to read issues were always extremely important to us as booksellers because, the free flow of ideas is the bedrock of what a democracy actually is. So over the course of time, we've bumped into lots of different attempts to silence people, but they were all fringe groups that were doing it. So we are now in this new world of our governor and the state legislature who are putting laws together to allow any parent to challenge any book that's in a school library.
I'm a native Miami and my parents are Cuban. I felt like when I was growing up, I was a lot freer than the kids are now, and that's kind of what started my activism. Moms for Libros started based on an actual book challenge that happened in Miami.
As you may already be aware, Miami has not escaped the book banning going on across the nation. Recently at Bob Graham Educational Center, 5 books, including Amanda Gorman's The Hill We Climb, have been challenged.
I felt that if she could challenge the books and it could be removed in that one school, then it was going to start happening all over the city, and somebody needed to do something. So we advocate for public schools, for the ability of kids to get the education that they need to get.
We put together an event at this local church that bills itself as a sanctuary for banned books. And then all of a sudden a movement was born.
We're a lot stronger than if we're just a bunch of little different pockets of activists, and we help each other out. It's great knowing that I'm not alone.
The church has always played a role in teaching our history, and history still sits in our pews. I was only concerned about it not being diluted, making sure that our children understood that Black people did not benefit from being slaves, that we benefited in any form or fashion. Who benefits from being raped or beat or chased or whatever brutality that was taking place? I see no benefits there. We created the toolkit to teach Black history based on what's going on with the target that's on public school system.
I'm more of an introvert, but I need to advocate for my kids. So I put myself in uncomfortable situations to make sure that their rights are maintained. I've been going to several school board meetings over the past year.
Age 13, as was mentioned, did come to me from students. This item requests the superintendent to see what options our district can come up with to enhance student engagement.
So some students reached out to us because they felt that the decisions that this board had made them feel unsafe, unvalued, and simply left out of the conversation. And they wanted to find ways to get more engaged in their education. So we helped them launch a letter writing campaign.
I really truly believe that age 13 is honestly necessary for us as students because it sets the building blocks for civil participation from an early age.
There was a lot of pushback from some of the more conservative members. My name is Lisette Fernandez. I'm a mother of 2 children in date schools, and I stand in support of this proposal. I was afraid it wasn't going to happen, but it did. So I feel like that was a big win.
All in favor? Any opposed? Nay? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
We are letting you know that the item passed.
Are you serious?
Yeah. People sometimes say that it's not all that important to engage in the school board because Florida's just going to pass laws that the school board's going to have to implement anyway, and their hands will be tied behind their back. But the reality is there is always a way that local governments and school boards can push back or find a way around it to make sure that their students are supported and that they feel safe and that they're respected and uplifted.
We've taken the lemons that they gave us and turned it into lemonade. The teaching of Black history has united Black churches, white churches, Muslims, evangelical Latinos. We now see we have more in common because it's morally wrong. I don't ever want my granddaughter to have to repeat history like her grandfather or great-grandfather has. And the only way she would know that she is or not is the teaching must continue.
When we look at like the LGBTQIA community, when we look at racism, it's just like attacks on attacks on attacks on our young people, and they're feeling it. And we create space in our organization to kind of unpack that, but we also recognize that we need that strategy and those solutions in the long haul to kind of address it. I want Florida to be a safe space for Black people, for brown people, for queer folks. But then we realized that in order for us to have a successful movement, it's going to take years.
It's very frustrating to advocate for kids or to advocate in general, to be an activist. It's a very slow process before you start to see any rewards for your work. But I feel very strongly about this. I feel like I have to do this. I have to be that voice to help the kids. And it's not just for my kids. I want them to have the right information. I want them to understand what occurred in history so that they understand what can happen in the future.
I think so many people feel like Florida is a lost cause. I think that that's just patently false and untrue. I've witnessed the resistance in our state. If history has shown me one thing, it is the power of our community to coalesce in crisis. And I think that we are in a moment of crisis and are showcasing that power once again to be able to come together as a community. If it's shown me one other thing, it's that time and time again we win.